Aloha, welcome to the G'day Sally Show. I'm Sally Squires, entertaining the world. And tonight I'm going to be reading some more chapters from my book, Mama KUTI'S Adventures. And we're up to chapter 14. And the title of chapter 14 is Mama KUTI Learns to Fly. The first time that Mama KUTI flew in the plane, she was not only excited but thrilled. This is the first time I have been able to look down and see my cottage, my fields, my animals, my museum and inn, she said. As the wind gently whispered through her hair, she could see how small everything and everyone on the ground looked. I feel as if I'm floating on a cloud, she told the pilot. How lucky I am to be able to fly. It wasn't long before Mama KUTI was proficient enough to take the controls of the plane herself, while the pilot sat and watched her fly. This is a new experience for me, said Mama KUTI. So far, all my life, I have been down on the ground, walking or riding in my donkey cart, but being up in your aeroplane up in the sky, I think is the most wonderful experience I've had. And then Mama KUTI began to think of an idea. Soon this pilot will be leaving here, flying away in her bright red aeroplane, and I will miss being able to fly, she thought. So she decided to fly off with the pilot for a special mission. All the villagers and her friends were mystified when Mama KUTI seemed to disappear for several days. Where can she be? They all thought. And some of them began to worry that Mama KUTI might have had an accident. But then they realized that Mama KUTI would never leave her cottage and her museum and the new inn. Some of them even asked her friend the baker where she was. They had noticed him coming every morning to feed Mama KUTI's animals when he delivered the bread for the guests at the inn. Oh, said the baker, I cannot say where Mama KUTI has gone, but I know she will be back soon. No doubt she will tell us where she has been when she returns. So they realized that they should just be patient and wait until Mama KUTI came home, and no doubt she would explain to them all where she had been and what she was doing while she was away. And then one morning, as they were all just beginning their work at the inn, they were startled to hear a loud noise in the sky. Some of them remembered what that loud noise sounded like as they had heard it before, and sure enough, as they looked up in the sky, they could see a bright blue object floating towards them. It was a bright blue aeroplane, and much to their surprise, as it came in to land at the field next to the inn, they could see the pilot. Why, it's Mama KUTI, they all cried. Mama KUTI is the pilot. And that is exactly where Mama KUTI had been. She had been to the city to buy her new bright blue aeroplane. After they had all welcomed her back, one of the children asked her, Mama KUTI, what are you going to do with your new bright blue aeroplane? And though Mama KUTI just loved being up in the sky flying her new bright blue aeroplane, she had not bought it so that she could have joyrides whenever she wanted. Oh no, Mama KUTI had a very big idea, and that is why she had bought the plane. When we are all sitting down to lunch today, she told the little girl who had asked her why she'd bought the plane, then I will tell everyone just what I plan to do with my new bright blue aeroplane. There was a buzz of excitement racing around the inn that morning. Everyone was dying to hear Mama KUTI's explanation of her purchase of her bright blue aeroplane. They knew that she would have another wonderful plan, which hopefully would also include them. And that is exactly what Mama KUTI had decided. You could hear a pin drop as Mama KUTI stood up at the head of the lunch table to announce her plan. As you all know, our village is quite small, though quite lovely. But as you also know, for us to travel any distance, we need to walk or ride a bicycle, and I was always afraid that I would fall off a bicycle if I tried to ride one, or we could have donkey carts like mine. Or if you had to go to one of the towns for a doctor's or dentist appointment, or for some other more serious business, then it would mean a long, tiring journey in a bus. And as you know, the roads are very bumpy and dusty. Everyone was leaning forward to hear what Mama KUTI was going to say next. She continued, So once I could see just how wonderful and time-saving an aeroplane could be, I decided that in future, if any of our villagers, friends, relations, etc. needed to go to town for such a reason, then I would fly them in my new bright blue aeroplane to save them time. I hope that you will think that my idea is a good one. And then she was swamped with clapping and shouts of, "Thank you, Mama Cootie, for thinking about us and caring so much for us." And the little girl who had asked Mama Cootie about what she was going to do with her new bright blue aeroplane turned to her parents and said, "Now our village will have a Mama Cootie airline. Hooray!" So that was the end of chapter 14, and now we have chapter 15. And chapter 15 is called Mama Cootie Plays Santa Claus. Although in Australia we call Santa Claus Father Christmas, so some of you might be thinking of Father Christmas instead of Santa Claus. It was almost Christmas, so Mama Cootie knew that it was time to go on her secret journey. There had been a lot of rain recently, and she had been a bit worried that the field that she used as a runway would be too wet and soggy for her to get up in the air. But keeping her fingers crossed as she tried to take off that morning, all was well, and soon she was flying through the clouds. She patted her pocket, where she had the list of all the village children to buy presents for. But as she flew through the cottony clouds, she suddenly felt that she should buy some extra ones, both for girls and boys, though she was not sure why. It was quite a fun exercise as Mama Cootie walked along the shelves of the toy shop, picking out gifts and ticking off names on her list. Finally, she had gifts for all the village children, so it was time to buy some extra gifts just in case. She knew that she could have asked her magical tree to make gifts for the children if she'd sat under its cool, shady leaves and thought of each child and each gift for them, but Mama Cootie had decided some time ago that her magical tree was very precious, and that in future she would only use its special powers if it was an emergency, or if she needed something that she could not get any other way. She was so grateful that her magical tree had been such a wonderful help when she had really needed it in the past, but now her life had changed and she was able to find other ways of achieving what she needed. Every day she visited her magical tree and thanked it, and gave it a special drink of the cool, clear water from the well she had dug with all the leaves and branches, so all the leaves and branches were thriving, she was happy to see. As Mama Cootie left the store loaded down with all her parcels, she could hear a child crying. At first she could not see where the sobbing child was, so she stopped and carefully put down all the bags she was carrying with the toys inside. She looked and looked, and finally she could see a small figure underneath a large tree some distance away. That was where the sobbing was coming from. Slowly, so as not to frighten her, Mama Cootie approached the sad little girl. "My name is Mama Cootie," she said. "Why are you so sad?" And Mama Cootie put down her parcels and sat down on the ground next to the little girl. Through her sad sobs, she finally looked up at Mama Cootie. "The rain flooded our house, and we have nowhere to go," she said. "That's terrible," said Mama Cootie. "Where is your family?" Just then the girl's parents and her brothers and sisters appeared. They had been sitting underneath another tree nearby. The mother started to apologize to Mama Cootie. "I am sorry that my daughter has interrupted your shopping," she said. Mama Cootie smiled. "Please don't apologize. I am very sad to hear that you have lost your home and all your belongings because of the flood. I know how bad floods can be," said Mama Cootie, as she remembered floating down the road in her pumpkin boat with her animals. "Please let me help you," she said. "I am about to fly back home, and I would be happy to take your family with me. You can stay at our inn as long as you need to, and I have a lot of helpers that will be able to help you rebuild your home when the floods have dried out." The family was overjoyed to hear what Mama Cootie had offered them. They were amazed to see her bright blue aeroplane and to watch as she flew the plane back to her home. As she flew, Mama Cootie chuckled to herself. "I knew there was some reason that I bought those extra presents. Now these children will also have Christmas presents too." So that's the end of chapter 15, and now we're on to chapter 16, Mama Cootie's new role. It was Christmas at last, and everyone was so excited to be there together. They welcomed the family whose house had been flooded and made them feel at home at the Your Home Away From Home Inn. Mama Cootie and all the cooks had made the most wonderful Christmas lunch for everyone. And then Mama Cootie tapped her glass of lemonade, made from her very own lemon tree, and asked everyone to listen. "You may have wondered where I had flown in my bright blue aeroplane yesterday," she said. "And it is so lucky that I did that trip, as it meant that I could bring this family, whose house was flooded, to join us all. They will be staying here for some time until their new house is built. I would like to invite you all to help them build their new home when the floods have gone down." At this everyone clapped and agreed to help, as they knew that if their own homes had been flooded, all the other villagers would help them build a new house. With a big smile on her face, Mama Kuti said, "Now I have a surprise for all the children." A wave of excitement went around the room as the children all wondered what Mama Kuti was going to say next. Suddenly the door opened and Mama Kuti's friend the baker entered with 2 huge bags. One of the children asked, "Mama Kuti, what is in the bags?" And Mama Kuti said, "I flew off yesterday to buy Christmas presents for you children, as you've been so good all year, studying hard at your schoolwork. And so I wanted to surprise you and encourage you to do your best at school next year as well." Well, it took almost all afternoon for Mama Kuti to hand out all the presents, including the ones for the children whose house had been flooded. "Hooray," said one of the girls. "Mama Kuti is Mama Christmas," and everyone laughed at that and agreed. Later that day, when most of the children were off playing with their presents and their parents were having a rest, Mama Kuti's friend the baker asked Mama Kuti to sit down in a quiet place so he could talk to her about something important. "My friend, you know I am always glad to see you and talk to you, so I would be happy to hear what you want to tell me," she said. As they sat under Mama Kuti's magical tree drinking lemonade from her lemon tree, he began, "Mama Kuti, you have made this village very important with all the improvements you have done, including the museum and the inn and the dinosaur fields." Mama Kuti listened intently. "And we have many people visiting almost every week, and there is a lot to think about to make everything happen just right," he said. And Mama Kuti kept listening to her friend. He went on, "I think it is time that our village, which is growing into a town now, needs a mayor to make sure that everything is run smoothly." "A mayor?" said Mama Kuti. "Well, yes, I can see that we do need someone like that to make sure everything does run smoothly." Mama Kuti's friend the baker was so glad that Mama Kuti agreed with his idea. "So I would like to suggest that you become the mayor," he said, as he waited to see what Mama Kuti's reaction would be. At first she didn't say anything. She was thinking about what he'd suggested. No doubt it was a good idea, but she had so many things to take care of, she wondered if she would have time to be the mayor as well. He was worried that she was going to say no, so he quickly added, "Of course you could always call on me to help with any projects you would do as mayor, and you know that everyone else here would love to help you, as they always do." At last he had his answer from Mama Kuti. "Yes," she said, "in that case I will be happy to become the mayor." And they both clinked their glasses of lemonade in agreement. So that's the end of chapter 16. You know, Hawaii is a microcosm of the world, with people here from all over the world. And Noa Noa Hawaii is a microcosm of the traditional arts of the world, with beautiful patterns from many countries. They've been in business for more than 40 years with wonderful Hawaii-designed batik clothing. Their hand-dyed and handmade clothes have patterns that are based on traditional kapa and tapa designs from Hawaii, Polynesia, Micronesia, Indonesia, even New Zealand and Africa. So check out the wonderful items that Noa Noa has on their website, www.noanoahawaii.com.